Mississippi Squirrel. The day the squirrel went berserk at the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula. It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah.
They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah.
Well, when I was a kid, I'd take a trip every summer down to Mississippi to visit my granny in her backwoods southern world. Well, I'd run barefoot all day long, climbing trees just free as a song. One day I happened to catch myself a squirrel. Well, I shoved him down in an old shoebox and punched a couple of holes in the top. And when Sunday came, hey, I snuck him into church. I was sitting way back in the very last pew, showing him to my good buddy Hugh, when that squirrel got loose and totally went berserk.
What happened next is hard to tell. Some thought it was heaven, others thought it was hell, but the fact that something was among us was plain to see. As the choir sang, "I surrender all," the squirrel ran up Harv's coveralls. He leaped to his feet and said,
"Some got a hold of me."
The day the squirrel went berserk at the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula. It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah.
Well, Harv hit the aisles, dancing and screaming. Some thought he had religion, others thought he had a demon. Harv thought he had a weed eater loose in his Fruit of the Looms.
Oh my.
He fell to his knees to plead and beg when the squirrel ran out of his breeches legs unobserved to the other side of the room.
All the way down to the Amen pew where sat Sister Bertha, better than you, who'd been watching all this commotion with a sadistic glee. But you should have seen that look in her eye when the squirrel took her garter and crossed her thigh. She jumped to her feet and said,
"Lord, have mercy on me."
Now, as the squirrel made laps inside her dress, she began to cry and then confessed her sins. Well, they'd make a sailor blush with shame.
She told the gossip, the church ascension, but the one thing that got the most attention is when she talked about her love life.
Started naming names.
The day the squirrel went berserk at the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula. It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah.
Now 7 deacons in the pasture got saved and $25,000 was raised
50 volunteered for missions in the Congo.
on the spot. And even without an invitation, there's at least 500 rededications. Hey, we all got rebaptized whether we needed it or not, but I think most of them did need it.
Well, you heard of the Bible stories, I guess, about how God parted the waters for Moses to pass and all the miracles God brought to this old world.
But the one thing I'll remember to my dying day is how you put that church back on its narrow way with one half crazed
Mississippi Squirrel. The day the squirrel went berserk at the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula. It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah. The day the squirrel went berserk at the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula. It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah.
Hey, y'all get this. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah.